In the last video, we set up our player movement, but it takes a really long time for the player to get to each edge. So what we're going to do is add a variable called speed. Let's go back into the script for our player and add in the speed. Speed is going to be a float value. So we're going to type public float speed. So now the variable speed is a numeric value. And we're going to use this speed within the rigid body's velocity. Now, move horizontal is the movement in the x. That's a +1 if we press the right arrow, and a -1 if we press the left arrow. So we're moving at those respective speeds, either a 1 to the right or a 1 to the left. So if we multiply this move horizontal by our speed value, say we set our speed equal to 2, that's going to move twice as fast. We could even set our speed to be something like 1/2, and then it would move half as fast. So let's write moves in the x direction by the speed value. So it moves in the x direction by the speed value. Save that. We said that speed was a float value, but we didn't give it a number associated with that. However, remember, we made it a public float value. That means that we'll be able to access it through Unity. If you click on player, you can see that where the player script is attached, we now have a speed value. Let's go ahead and set that speed value to 3. Now, when we run this, we are going to move 3 times as fast as we originally did. You can see that it's moving a lot faster. If we wanted it to move even faster, let's say 10. Even faster. But what happens if we go over the edge? Gravity takes into play. There are a few ways to fix this. If you go to our rigid body, we can add a constraint to that and freeze the position in the Y. When we freeze the position in the Y, that means it will never leave that transform position that we set as 0 in the X, 0 in the Y. It will always remain 0 in the Y. So we can go off to the edge and nothing will ever happen. That's one way to fix it. However, if we weren't to do that, we could add a box collider on the edge to prevent it from falling off either side. So let's go ahead and change our speed back to 5, and we'll add the colliders in later in the game, but we don't have to worry about it for now. We'll just be careful not to fall off the edge. Another way you could possibly fix that is by setting that if you fall off the edge, once you hit a certain point, or once you go past a certain Y value, so say your player is falling, once it passes this edge of the screen, whatever that Y value is, you can say simply to restart the player back at the start position. So then it would pop back up into the start position. So there's multiple ways to fix this problem. But how I'm going to do it is, like I said before, I'm just going to add a small little wall on each side and put a box collider on it. But that's not until later. So go ahead and mess around with the speed of 5 and get used to it, or change the speed to whatever you like. In our next video, we are going to add in those collectibles, which will be our 2 different options that the player can choose from.